The Jets are signing quarterback Justin Fields to a 2-year, $40 million contract with $30 million guaranteed. And actually, NFL Network insiders Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero, they both reported on that. 2 years, $40 million for Justin Fields, former Steelers, former Bears quarterback. He started the year for Pittsburgh 4-2. He had 5 passing touchdowns, I believe it was, only 1 interception. Ran it in 5 times. He was productive. He was not a detriment to the Steelers' offense, but he did get supplanted by Russell Wilson in Week 7 going forward, and we saw how that worked out. Some good, some bad. Justin Fields to the Jets. The Aaron Glenn era starts with a new starting quarterback. Out with the old, in with the new. C-Cat, you think this is like one of those toxic relationships where you're like, man, you know, the worst dude I know actually just hooked up with like maybe the most like insufferable woman I know.
Hey.
Wonder how that's going to work out.
I think that's being a little bit mean to Justin Fields in this aspect. No, because Justin Fields is not the worst dude I know. He's been dealt a pretty bad hand. No one's really succeeded post-Ben Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh. No one succeeded in general as a quarterback with the Chicago Bears. But you're kind of going to a quarterback wasteland in the Jets.
What's the last quarterback for the Jets that we would say we'll use the moniker they succeeded? They succeeded with the Jets.
I always forget his name.
Chad Pennington?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Chad Pennington was a good quarterback with the Jets. Yeah. I believe that was when Mike Tannenbaum was there as well.
No Tim Tebow love here?
No, not too much.
Okay. Geno Smith had a little run. I know it was bad.
He was there.
It was bad.
How about that?
So Chad Pennington was the last Jets quarterback we could say actually had success, some modicum of success, and even that came with its limits.
Well, you know, Mark Sanchez went to 2 AFC championships.
Right, but that's
tough. He had success. He wasn't a great quarterback.
There you go. He was not the reason for that team being what they were. That team was clearly driven by its defense. That team was stout at running the football and had a Rex Ryan identity that was hard to match up against, even for the New England Patriots that dominated that division and that conference for so many years. So that was a different case. In this case, that defense, this ain't no steel curtain, you know. That defense is good. It's got some great pieces. Aaron Glenn's going to come in there and try and put his stamp on that. Speaking of Aaron Glenn, he was part of some of those teams. But roll it back to what the actual deal was itself. 2 years for Fields, $40 million. That's $20 million a year to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. That is a bargain. Look at what the cap just spiked. The cap just spiked, and that tells you also what Fields' market was. But when you look at the average cost per quarterback, per year for starting quarterbacks, this would have been the lowest last year. Well, technically Sam Darnold was $10 million a year, but of course, you know, he was brought in there as a bridge. And then you had Gardner Minshew with the Raiders at $12.5 a year last year. The next highest between 12.5 as Gardner Minshew is Geno Smith was getting paid $25 million last year from the Seahawks. He couldn't even get Geno money, and that shows you how low his market was. And I do think the Steelers know they're settling into the dangerous situation. They didn't want Fields coming back.
So a lot of the reaction immediately online. Once this deal was announced online for Justin Fields to the Jets, everyone's pointing at Aaron Rodgers to the Pittsburgh Steelers now that the succession plan that previously was Justin Fields of the Steelers is gone for Russell Wilson.
Don't say that man's name today. We're talking about players who can make an impact on their team next year. We're talking about competent pieces, free agency signings, big trade deals. We're not talking about no damn Aaron. I can't even say it. Aaron.
It's a weird defect in our airwaves.
That dude does not deserve any time on our airwaves today. He has done nothing to prove to us that he should. Last year, he had Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and a stout defense and a head coach before he got him fired that is good at getting the most out of his defense. And how many wins did he get? Less than Zach Wilson did the year before with the same team. Less weapons. That dude is not a franchise-altering player anymore. He is a cancer in the locker room and a detriment to most offenses.
You know what?
No Aaron Rodgers talk today.
Was this a move to make Garrett Wilson happy? Because Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson played together at Ohio State University.
I love it. And also, to be honest with you, if you're not going to have great quarterback play, at least have a guy back there that can make defenses think, make them add another extra defender in the run fit, because that can create some advantages where you didn't previously have them. Like, you can build an offense around a mediocre quarterback who is a dual threat QB, like Daniel Jones with Brian Daboll in 2022, like Anthony Richardson at times for Shane Steichen. And the peak of this is what you're able to do with Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Now, he's a much better thrower of the football. But I do recall a time in which Justin Fields in college with that man that you named, Garrett Wilson, looked like a franchise quarterback, looked like a guy that you can drop back 30 times a game and win that way. I absolutely love this deal. If anything, I think the Jets got a bargain for Justin Fields.
Yeah, I guess if you are Aaron Glenn, the head coach of the New York Jets, that Mike Tannenbaum, who frequents these airwaves, took a part in hiring, the one classification, the one characteristic that he kept on repeating ad nauseum was, I want winners. So it feels like a half measure to me. It's not a win-now move, but it's also not a rebuilding move, getting Justin Fields and putting him in a New York Jets uniform.
Yeah.
Justin Fields didn't really win in the NFL. The team was better when he got benched for Russell Wilson with the Steelers, and he never won with the Bears. So I kind of think this is a half-committal win-now move. And if it's not a half-committal, it's just not a win-now move, but it's also not a rebuilding move.
Their offensive coordinator is Tanner Engstrand. I'm not even going to pretend to act like I know who that is.
Yeah, me neither.
So not going to get into the weeds of that, but this is going to be his coming out party in the NFL in a major way. He's going to have the opportunity to now try and leverage Fields, a good offensive line, a strong run game behind them, and Breece Hall and the Braylon Allen kid out of Wisconsin. Leverage that, plus having a true number one receiver like Garrett Wilson on the outside into a creative offense that can move the ball consistently enough to where you can actually be of benefit of having such a strong defense, right? Like, all you got to do is not turn the ball over and keep the chains moving if you're Justin Fields with these Jets. And I think everything is kind of in place. This is all going to fall on the shoulders of Tanner Engstrand, which some people are going to say, I don't know ball. One thing I do know is I will never cap to y'all. There's going to be some people that you might listen to or you might read on Twitter or whatever that are going to act like they've known Tanner Engstrand since he graduated high school.
Theo doesn't know Tanner Engstrand, but he wasn't watching New Mexico State last year. It's going to be like some stuff like that out there. Tell me you don't watch ball.
And sure, if you're a Tanner Engstrand veteran, if you're a Tanner Engstrand truther, I'm sorry for offending you. I'm sorry for the ball knowers out there that are in the weeds of coordinators and passing game coaches and all. I ain't got that kind of a bag. Sorry.
We're going to find out he's a Palm Beach County resident.
That's going to be sick. That's going to be sick.
Actually, he lives right down the road.
Right, yeah. Tanner Engstrand, actually. Me and him went to the same high school. But what I will say is this. Now the onus is on him because Fields is not getting paid the kind of money that would come with the level of pressure to succeed. The Jets, on the other hand, as well, did not invest the kind of money in them to where they need wins immediately and direct results out of him. This puts them in the prime position. Now that they've also re-signed the middle linebacker, Jamian Sherwood, Jensen Beach product, right? That's a South Florida guy. Shout to him. What was that, 3 years, $45 million? Huge deal for him. Now that they re-signed Jamian Sherwood, now that they have a new regime taking over, this is a perfect reset button. And I don't think there could be, just like with the Sam Darnold experience, which one do you have more faith in working out? And again, use the weight of the contract as also part of that barometer, right?
Yeah.
Sam Darnold for $36 million or Justin Fields for $20 million.
We're just going to work out better?
With those current teams and everything, as things stand.
It's simply this. The Seahawks win when they shouldn't, and the Jets lose when they shouldn't.
Yes.
So I'm going to go with the Seahawks because I don't have a good vibe about it right now. It doesn't make me feel good, but they just stack W's when you don't see it coming. And the Jets, when they should be winning games, they simply don't.
I believe the last 2 years there was a dark shadow cast over the Jets organization, and it went by the name of Aaron Rodgers. He was brought in there to be the savior, and he was the exact opposite. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't say that name. Can't say that name.
Voldemort.
He was brought in here to be the savior, but Aaron ruin that franchise. If Aaron Glenn is the guy that he says he is, he'll bring the Jets back to prominence. He remembers the glory days.
That was a good voice acting there. The way you stumbled into the word rot, it sounded like you got possessed.
Hey man, I've been doing TV for like a decade, man. Been in radio for a couple of years. I do this, man. My voice is one of my best characteristics.